Hi folks, welcome back to Freedom Forest. So this is the first proper video that we've done for a couple of weeks. So we're just going to give you a bit of an update about a few things that we've been up to around here and a little bit of a tour to show you how things are looking. So I wanted to start down here on our alternative Three Sisters bed where we've got sunflowers with beans growing up and then winter squash as a ground layer. And considering how much wind and rain we've had for part of this summer, I thought we were actually going to lose quite a lot of these sunflowers. We've lost one or two actually from birds landing on them, but they are massive, as you can see, and we have just started having our first few sunflowers coming out now. And I just cannot wait to see what this bed is going to look like in another week or so's time when all of these sunflowers are blooming. It's just going to be such a happy space to look at. But yeah, the squash are doing well in there. A few weeds need to get in and sort out. The beans have been really slow to get going. I think because of the lack of sunlight we've had at this end of the summer. But they are starting to climb and grow, so yeah, hopefully we will get a good crop of beans out of there as well.
How's your grandma's bed sheets holding up here?
Oh yeah, so I did mention this in a previous vlog, but yeah, if you're wondering what all these white strips are, that was one of my grandma's bed sheets which I ripped up and used to strap the sunflowers all together. Basically when we had like 50-mile-an-hour winds forecast one day, because yeah, I thought I was going to lose them all. So it's actually worked really well because we've had at least 2 or 3 days with 50-mile-an-hour winds since then. And yeah, and they're all still standing. We actually only lost one. We've had one fall over here, but it's kind of been caught. It's been caught by this other strap and it's just about to flower still. So that's going to be a lovely upright sunflower. And yeah, and it actually had a really good crop of beans on it as well. So hopefully, yeah, those beans can still grow and do their thing. But yeah, we're going to go up to the new piece of land now, the bit we call the new land, and show you a few things that are going on up there. Welcome to Freedom Forest, guys, the 3-acre edible oasis that we're creating here in the south of England, where we like to try lots of new things and push the boundaries with what we can grow using permaculture and no-dig methods. Absolutely no chemicals, weed killers or synthetic fertilisers, just what nature provides. And I also just wanted to say a massive thank you for some of the lovely comments we had after our last video, which was all about our beautiful old girl Millie, who we lost a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, really appreciate all the lovely comments that you guys have been leaving us on that. So thank you very much. But yeah, so this is the piece of land we call the new land because it's half an acre that we were able to buy as an addition to the 3 acres that we have over that side. So something that I have been doing this morning is sorting out our onions, and Dan has made this little rack to help dry the onions. So normally I just hang them to dry and I usually plait them, but the necks weren't drying properly this year, where they were bundled up, where the air has been so damp for the last few weeks. All the necks were just sort of going mushy. So we saw somebody else had used a pallet to stand their onions to dry. So we thought, yes, we'll get onto that. So we've actually had a couple of days of sun, which has been a real rarity for the last few weeks. And a nice breeze. It's just kicked up as I'm speaking. So yes, I got all the onions out yesterday, laid them out, and then this morning I chopped all the ends off of them and have turned them over so the stem end is facing upwards to dry a little bit more. And then I'm going to leave them here for another day or so, and then we'll put them into sacks or into boxes this year, into crates, to store and just use as we go. But yeah, making use of Dan's wood shelter here. It's providing a little bit of shade so the onions aren't in full sun, but we're getting a lovely breeze and really good airflow, which is perfect drying conditions. So up here is what should have been a Three Sisters bed, but I never actually got around to planting any beans up the corn this year because I actually really struggled to get our beans germinated. So we didn't have enough to add into this bed, so we've got Two Sisters going on in here. And this year we've just grown sweet corn, super sweet sweet corn. And then we've got a load of different squash all everywhere in this bed. And we have got some really good fruits forming up here. This one is a jumbo pink banana. And then just here, I think that one is one that's called Sweet Meat, which is a new one. I haven't grown that before. Or if it's not that, I need to have a look. But if it's not that, then it's a Crown Prince. But yeah, I think that one's Sweet Meat. We've got Chicky Curry, beautiful little small orange squash in here. They are looking good. And by the looks of the tassels on some of our sweet corn, we are not far off being able to harvest the first of our sweet corn. So hopefully we will get to that before the rats and the mice do. Something that's been looking absolutely beautiful up here so far this year is the echinacea. Yeah, really enjoying those. And then we've got some summer squash, courgette, zucchini plants dotted around in here as well. We've got our potatoes, which actually these ones look pretty much ready to harvest. Beautiful calendula and dahlias all dotted through. Dan's beloved bananas and cannas. So yeah, it's all going on up here. And one of the other things that you guys have been asking us about is our yacon as well. So we'll go and have a look at one of our yacon beds over here, and then we'll go around to the other side in a minute and have a look at our main yacon bed. So this was a new bed last year, and we just grew it in compost last year, as some of you will know. We didn't mulch it over winter and we lost literally everything in this bed, and normally we grow our yacon as a perennial plant. So we did replant this area, we put more compost down, and we also added some more wood chip to this area too. It could still do with a lot more. It's nowhere near as deep as our other yacon bed. But as you can see, we've got some pretty good growth. The plants do look quite close together, so it'll be interesting to see how big the tubers come out, if they have got enough space, because yeah, they're definitely planted a lot closer together than our other bed, which we're going to take a look at in a minute. And then up here, again using the roof space, the covered roof space of our shed overhang, we've got some of our garlic, and this is the French garlic on this side, and then we've got some of our elephant garlic over here, and all of this is actually pretty nice and dry now. So that is another job I need to be getting to really soon, is sorting and platting all of our garlic. So yeah, this is about half of it, and then yeah, we've got the other half of the elephant garlic under another roof space, just utilising anything we can for drying and storing our crops. And I know it probably seems like this is a lot that we grow here, but this is actually nearly all just for our own use. We do always have surplus, which we try and share with our family or just give away to neighbours and things like that. But we are trying to be as self-sufficient as we can here. And I would say we're probably at about 70% self-sufficient overall at the moment at this time of year. And that's actually about 95% at least self-sufficient in all of our own fresh produce. So the only things that we actually buy in fresh at the moment is bananas and mushrooms, I think that's literally it. So everything else that we eat and grow in terms of fresh fruit and vegetables, we grow completely ourselves on this space. So, polytunnels. I will do another update tour in our polytunnels really soon, giving you a little bit more of an update as to what's happening in here. And I'm not actually going to fully go in this tunnel because it's really hot right now. But we have had one semi-disaster in this tunnel, tunnel 1. And that is that we've had a rat in the tunnel, and the purple sweet potatoes that we've got as a ground cover on this side, the foliage had been so lush and beautiful and they were growing really well. And then I realised that we've had a rat in and he's dug under or chewed off nearly all of the sweet potatoes. So a lot of the foliage is dying back. There is still some that's growing. I'm not really sure how because he's pretty much dug under every single potato. So I'm not expecting really any harvest from in here, even though, yeah, some of the foliage still looks really good. So we just have to wait and see. But yeah, so that's been a bit of a shame this year, but there's always something, and every year something is always a bit of a problem, but then other crops can do really well. So, oh, the net house. I never really show you the net house very much. Always forget it, and I don't know why, because it is such a valuable source of food for us. So this is our Brassica net house. As you can see, there is lots of lush greenery going on in here right now, and then we've also got a few strawberries, but just down by Dan's feet I can actually see it looks like we've had somebody in here, probably Mr. Rat again, munching on one of our strawberries. So I'm just going to take this lovely one here before he gets it, and I can see a few more for Dan there, so I'll pick those for him in a minute. Yeah, so loads of beautiful brassicas. I do need to get in here and have a bit of a tidy up. I need to just tidy up the old leaves, and as with everywhere at the moment, you'll see as we go into our next area.
How are the perennial cows doing that you did from cutting?
Oh, okay, yeah, perennial cows. So, yeah, this is our beautiful Taunton Dean perennial cow. We just grow these from taking little side shoots off of a plant. So, for instance, like I could pretty much break this shoot off here and just pop it in some soil, and then that would root really, really easily and make a whole new plant. They are such productive plants. I tend to use these more in the winter because they have these really big leathery leaves, so they're really good for cooking when you want cooked winter greens. And then I tend to favour the black cow or palm tree cow. I think Cavolo Nero is another name for it. I tend to favour this one and the curly cow for the summer when the leaves are nice and young and fresh. But yeah, we've got some swede that I'm trying in here for the first time. We've got some purple sprouting broccoli. They're only small at the minute. We've got some 9-star perennial broccoli as well. Yeah, 9-star perennial broccoli, so I put some of those in here. And there's something else. What else am I just thinking of? Curly cow. Oh, and cauliflowers. There are some cauliflowers growing on in here at the moment as well. So I don't always grow cauliflowers because some years it does really well and other years not so. So I tend to kind of have a go at it every other year and just see how it goes. So we're going to hop over this fence now and into the area we call our main growing area, or Dubai. We might need to see if Murph wants to hop over with us. Murph, you come in or are you staying there? Come on, boy. Come on then, mummy up. Good boy. Okay, so this is our main growing area and it is wild. It has gone a bit like a jungle. Basically, I have done very little gardening for the last 2 weeks because, as some of you will know, our old dog Millie got really sick and we lost her nearly 2 weeks ago now. So yeah, it just really threw us out and has been a really sad time, and I completely lost my mojo for gardening for a few weeks there, and obviously I was really focused on looking after Mills when she was sick. So we have got a lot of work to do up here now to pull it all back. But there is also a lot of stuff growing and producing really, really well. So we've got so many courgettes this year. We put in way too many plants, but we are producing an absolute abundance of food from them. This is where I'll be replanting my elephant garlic this year, and I tried to sow a cover crop of buckwheat in here, and some of it has taken, but there is also a lot of weeds mixed in. And again, we've had a few rats around at the minute, and when I sowed the buckwheat, it's quite a big seed, so I suspect some of the seed got eaten as well. But yeah, this bed we've got yellow dock, we've got bindweed, and there's couch grass comes up over here. There's the sorrel creeping in, so yeah, I need to get in and sort this out really soon because I'll be resowing my elephant garlic around about the middle to end of September, hopefully, all going to plan. This beautiful leaf here that you might recognise, you might think that it's a nasturtium, but it's actually related to the nasturtium, but that's Mashua, and that's grown a lovely creamy white tuber that looks a little bit like a giant bug under the ground, but we love those for the winter. Murph, are you helping yourself to carrots? I know what you're sniffing there. So yeah, again, this area is looking pretty wild, but there is a lot of food going on. I've got a later sowing of beetroot here, which will be for winter cropping. We've got leeks that are coming on nicely. I've got 2 more recent sowings of carrots, one here and one over there. And we have been having some moles going underneath all of these beds as we normally do, but we're still getting some good growth on the carrots. So there'll be some that get disturbed. I don't know if you can see here where it's all ridged up. So yeah, some of the carrots will be affected, but we should still have enough. Again, loads of stuff I need to get out. Lettuce which has run to seed, weeds. This was my first sowing of beetroot, and it's actually taken a really long time to size up because of the earlier drought. But yeah, this whole row has got heaps of beetroot in, so we've got loads of beetroot, kohlrabi. We've got some massive kohlrabis under here, and they desperately need using. I just haven't actually been getting to them in time to use. There's some lovely little alien heads, as I call them. There's a massive one over there. That one really needs to be eaten up, and then we've got some beautiful purple ones in here as well. Don't know if you got those on camera, Dan. But yeah, again, needs to have a bit of a tidy up really in this bed and go through and clear off all the old leaves and get them on the compost. God, I could spend days up here alone. Murph, come on boy. Murph's down there helping himself to some carrots. And this was the bed where I pulled all the onions out of a few weeks ago. And then there's carrots, there's patches of carrots that I had sown in between the onions, and we're just harvesting those as we go. or as you can see, Murph is just harvesting them as he fancies a carrot or two. Come on, boy. Some beautiful chamomile, I can smell this as I walk past. Been harvesting this to dry for teas. I need to get on and get some more drying as well. And probably going to find, I haven't actually told Dan this, but my plan was to deadhead this as it went. But yeah, that hasn't happened. So we're probably going to have chamomile everywhere next year, but hey, at least we can use it. The New Zealand spinach is doing really well outdoors this year. So this is all this beautiful green leaf is New Zealand spinach, and it's a slightly furry, leathery leaf, but we just slice it up thinly and add it to salads, or you can cook with it like normal spinach. So yeah, really love this plant, and it makes a beautiful ground cover. And this is actually self-seeded from last year, which I wasn't sure if it would self-seed in this country in England. I used to grow it in New Zealand and it used to self-seed there. But yeah, so I was really happy when that came back. This is runner beans here. Again, the bean growth this year hasn't been great. Last year it wasn't great because we were in a drought for so much of the summer. And this year we had a bit of an early drought period, but now we've had so much rain and lack of sunlight, and the beans really do like a lot of sun. So I think that's why the beans aren't growing so strongly. But yeah, a nice beautiful couple of days we've just had now, so that is all good. Another summer squash, we've got them just dotted around. This is a big round courgette here. These ones grow, they're really good for stuffing. But yeah, they grow super fast, as with all courgettes. So yeah, you have to be on top of the harvesting. So up here, this is our outdoor crop of sweet potatoes. And normally we only grow one side or the other, but we have maxed out this year and we've got 2 beds of outdoor sweet potatoes. And certainly judging by the foliage, they are growing really, really well. And this is T65 is the variety that we grow outside. We've done a few trials and we've found that this is the best one that grows outdoors for us here in the south of England. And then behind the sweet potatoes here, you can see all of our beautiful Yacon plants. And these Yacon have been grown in the same place successfully for 4 years now. As you can see, these plants have got a little bit more space between them and they are a little bit bigger. Now that could be to do with the space, or it could be to do with this bed. If you've seen any of our other Yacon videos, you'll know from when we harvest with our hands, this bed is just such beautiful, deep, loose soil, which is pretty much all broken down wood chip, and the Yacon absolutely loves it. So yeah, much looser, deeper soil than the newer Yacon bed up there. But yeah, just a really lovely, beautiful area. Dan's got all of his cannas along the back and the beautiful red dahlias, which we propagated from a few tubers that we got from his granddad's garden. Yeah, lovely cannas. And so yeah, this is just one of our tropical looking areas. We've got some of the taro that Dan's been experimenting with this year growing outside. It's not grown as big as what we would like it to. We have got one really big exciting plant in one of the tunnels, which we'll hopefully show soon. But yeah, just looking really good. So despite the lack of input recently, we are still hopefully going to get loads of beautiful crops, and everything is still growing for us. So yeah, that is, I guess, one of the beauties of nature. Even when you have to stop for whatever reasons life throws at you, nature just still keeps going. And so now we're in the food forest, and again, same story as everywhere else. Everywhere has been a little bit neglected, but with that neglect, I also just see such beauty. It's so wild and beautiful at the moment. the mint, the chocolate mint, which I absolutely love, has got all of its purple flowers coming out on it, and the insects absolutely love it. I can just see, I don't know if the camera can catch it, but there's loads of butterflies flitting around on there at the moment. All the yarrow, which I've been meaning to deadhead so that it doesn't seed and spread, that hasn't happened. But then I was thinking about it the other day, and we always battle with sheep sorrel in here, and I think, well, maybe yarrow would be a prettier option to have spreading around. We've got more of the beautiful echinaceas, which the bumblebees are loving. And a lot of these are actually self-seeded. We just had one patch that we started with, one clump over here, and slowly the echinacea is spreading out into the food forest. We've got it right over here now. So yeah, I just love it when that happens. Like, that's nature just really doing its thing.
Oh, Laurie, I can see some our first apricots.
Apricots, I know, I actually spotted them yesterday. I meant to say to you, we didn't think this tree had any apricots on. We had one last year, but actually now things are colouring up. You can actually see there's a little bit more fruit on the trees than we thought. If you saw our last food forest video, you would have heard me saying that a lot of our fruit trees haven't been as productive this year, and going into a little bit more detail about that. But yeah, there's still a bit more fruit than we thought. Now that things are starting to grow, you can just see what's happening.
What's that under this tree?
Oh, and so this was an experiment as well. This is a couple of plants of the trombone courgettes, and I put them under here to see if they would grow up the tree and if we could get some of those beautiful big trombones dangling from the branches. But they stagnated for a long time when I first put them out, so the growth was really slow, and so I'm not sure if they will mature in time now. Oh, that's a different plant there.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Okay.
That one is Mexican sunflowers, and I've dotted a few of these through the food forest just really to act as a biomass, so you can use them for chop and drop. So just again experimenting this year to see how they grow. I probably could have planted those a little bit earlier in the season, so again they've been quite slow to grow now at this time of year, where we've had quite a lack of sunlight hours for this time of year. But yeah, we have got our first cosmos, which has just started flowering in here as well. I dotted some cosmos through because I just love it. It's such a beautiful flower. So yeah, they've come out. Again, it feels like they've taken a really long time. And yeah, one thing we are really excited about is the harvest that we are going to get from this pear tree this year. It is absolutely covered. We probably should have thinned some of the fruit, so that will probably mean that we won't get a crop of pears from this tree next year. But next year, I'm sure our apple trees will do great again. And I kind of really like it like that. So it keeps all your harvests exciting if what you have an abundance of changes every year. So yeah, so that's a little update tour around our land, around Freedom Forest for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up by clicking the button just below. Drop us any comments and questions. We love hearing from you. And also a massive extra big thanks to our Patreons who help support the making of these videos. We appreciate you all and your time for watching. Have a great time in your gardens, and we'll see you soon. Peace and plants.